In Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2, one of the most unexpected developments has been Georgie's slow but steady slide into criminal activity, something that, surprisingly, traces all the way back to Meemaw's old gambling den. What started as a bit of youthful mischief and questionable business sense in young Sheldon has evolved into something darker and riskier. It's a side of Georgie that we haven't really seen before, and while the show doesn't paint him as a villain, it's clear that his choices are beginning to spiral out of control. If we look back at young Sheldon, Meemaw's gambling den wasn't just a fun little side hustle. It was a formative part of Georgie's upbringing. He saw firsthand how bending the rules could make quick money, and more importantly, how sometimes breaking the rules didn't come with immediate consequences. Meemaw ran that operation under the radar for years, and Georgie learned a dangerous lesson from it. That success doesn't always come from playing fair. That kind of thinking stuck with him. And now, as an adult trying to run a business and provide for his family, those instincts are resurfacing. Season 2 does an excellent job showing how Georgie's desperation and pride are pushing him toward bad decisions. He's under immense pressure. The shop isn't making enough money, Mandy's career is taking off, and he feels like he's losing control of his own life. So, when shortcuts start appearing, shady deals, under-the-table transactions, and questionable partnerships, Georgie doesn't turn away. Instead, he convinces himself that it's just business, that he's doing it for his family, that it's temporary. But the truth is, it's a slow descent, one that echoes Meemaw's old pattern, justifying bad behavior because it serves a greater purpose. It's easy to forget that Georgie's first taste of real responsibility came from that same world of bending the rules. He helped Meemaw with a gambling den as a teenager, collecting cash and keeping things quiet. Back then, it was exciting. It made him feel important and capable. But now, those habits are creeping back in under very different circumstances. He's no longer a kid trying to impress his grandmother. He's a husband and father trying to survive. And that's what makes this so tragic. Georgie's criminal behavior doesn't come from greed or evil. It comes from fear and insecurity. The writing in First Marriage has been subtle but intentional about connecting these dots. In several episodes, you can see Georgie rationalizing his behavior the same way Mima used to. When she was questioned about her gambling den, she'd shrug and say it was just a little fun, or that nobody's getting hurt. Now Georgie is using that same language to justify what he's doing, whether it's cutting corners in the shop, dealing with shady oil men, or bending regulations to make quick cash. It's history repeating itself, only this time the stakes are higher, and the fallout could destroy his family. What's fascinating is that the show doesn't treat Meemaw's influence as purely negative. She was a survivor, someone who made the best out of bad situations. But the problem is that Georgie doesn't have her instincts or experience. He's reckless, emotional, and far more impulsive. Meemaw knew when to walk away. Georgie doesn't. He keeps digging deeper, convinced that he can handle whatever comes next. But as fans can already tell, that's not going to end well. There's also an emotional side to all of this. Georgie's criminal behavior isn't just about money. It's about control. Ever since George Sr. died, he's been trying to fill that void, to be the man of the family, to prove that he's capable. But that pressure has warped his sense of right and wrong. He's not thinking long-term, he's just trying to survive the moment. And when he feels cornered, he turns to the one lesson life taught him early on: if the system won't help you, find a way around it. Mandy, meanwhile, has no idea how deep Georgie's getting. She knows he's struggling, and she can sense that something's off, but she doesn't see the full picture yet. When she finds out, and she inevitably will, it's going to shake their marriage to its core. Mandy's worked hard to build a legitimate career, and the last thing she wants is to be dragged into something illegal or embarrassing. If Georgie's behavior continues down this path, it could be the final push that drives them apart. What makes this storyline so powerful is that it feels real. It's not about dramatic crime or violence. It's about everyday choices that slowly cross moral lines. Georgie's not robbing banks. He's just saying yes to things he knows he shouldn't. But those yes add up, and before long, he's too deep to get out clean. It's the kind of story that shows how ordinary people can drift into trouble without even realizing it, and how one bad influence, even one that started out as family, can echo across generations. By connecting Georgie's mistakes to Meemaw's past, First Marriage is reminding viewers that behavior doesn't exist in a vacuum. What we learn from our family, good or bad, sticks with us. Georgie's criminal streak isn't just about greed or laziness, it's a legacy. A legacy of cutting corners, of surviving by any means necessary, and of believing that the rules only matter if you get caught. As the season goes on, it's becoming clear that Georgie's choices will catch up with him. Whether it's through the law, a rival, or even Mandy herself, his actions are building toward a reckoning. And when that happens, it'll force Georgie to confront not just his mistakes, but the shadow of Meemaw's influence that's been following him his entire life. In the end, Georgie's story isn't just about crime. It's about inheritance. Not money or property, but values, habits, and consequences. Meemaw taught him how to hustle, but she also taught him how to justify doing the wrong thing for the right reasons. Now, First Marriage Season 2 is showing what happens when that kind of thinking finally runs out of luck. For more videos, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel.